AfterBuzz TV, starting place to the likes of WWE female superstars Kathy, Kelley, Sonya, Deville, and Zelina Vega proudly presents Women's Wrestling Weekly, the world's first podcast and YouTube series dedicated exclusively to women's wrestling, featuring all the latest news as well as interviews with top superstars in the industry. And now, AfterBuzz TV's own gorgeous lady of wrestling, TK Trinidad.
Bonjour, you're watching Women's Wrestling Weekly, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, aka the Canadian Assassin, and of course, he's back from fighting crime.
I know.
Evan Mack, the president of BMP.
Real talk, man. CEO, founding father. Your boy out here crime fighting, keeping the streets safe. You ain't doing it. Nobody else gonna do it. Somebody gotta do it.
So we have a very special show. So if you are, when you do watch the show, this is in preparation for WrestleMania, and of course, you know, we have to be in the mix, so we have to do a pre-tape. And no better to have this special guest on. She's sitting right beside Coco Cena. She is the host, the main host for Championship Wrestling. Please welcome Kathy Campanelli.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
This is so exciting. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you coming on. We always like when the guests come in. It's always more personal. I like getting people to know, the ladies in the women wrestling industry and whatnot. So we appreciate you.
Especially hosting. I mean, there are quite a few hosts, but you're seeing hosts take a new role, no longer like the valet or the ring announcer. So, especially women who love wrestling who can, do commentating as well.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So let's kind of get into it. We did talk, I found so much more that's not on your Instagram that's quite interesting. So apparently you're an opera singer?
Yeah.
I
went to school for 4 years to learn how to be an opera singer, and then just ended up in pro wrestling because that's just the way the world works, I guess, right?
Well, before you elaborate on that, tell the people why opera is not boring.
Opera's not boring because it's storyline. It's you're telling a story. I consider it a lot with parallels of wrestling. You have the skill element, obviously. You have the story element. You have the drama. You're telling a story. I think that there's so many more pieces to it than just someone standing on stage and singing.
Right.
So I think about, someone can do these crazy wrestling moves and have all these skills, but at the same time they can cut me in promos too and help drive that story along. I think it's all these beautiful similarities between wrestling and theater, and I think that's kind of why I ended up here.
So how did you end up in wrestling? Like, how did you watch it as a kid and then you kind of somebody told somebody and now you're here?
Yeah, so I watched when I was a very little kid with my great-grandpa, and we would watch all the highlights of like Ric Flair and The Undertaker.
Wow.
But one of the things I realized with The Undertaker is that I wasn't so afraid of The Undertaker as I was Paul Bearer. So I always had, right?
Yeah.
So
Scary as hell.
Yeah.
The voice, everything. But I think I found this love for it, and I think with a lot of people you have that hiatus. So I was on a very long hiatus. After I moved out here about 3 years ago, I started kind of watching again almost by accident, and then started doing a little bit of research and realized that there was a lot of wrestling happening in Southern California. Started going to local shows, started going to tapings of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
Right.
I think I went to a bunch of different shows around the area and realized, like, wow, okay, the live element is so much, it's so different. So yeah, I was watching WWE on a weekly basis, but that electricity that I felt in the air at a live show, there was nothing like it. So then I realized there's an opportunity for me to go with Santino Brothers. They had a one-day tryout. So a very good friend of mine and myself, we went. I was like, I'll just be, supportive, I'll just do it. It was really rough.
Yeah.
I think it was a big eye-opener from all of, practicing the bumps, the rolls, every physical element of it. But then we got to the last piece of it, which was character development. And I had already kind of had a character that I was working on.
Okay.
Kathy from Human Resources. The jig is up. I'm Kathy from HR. When I don't have the glasses on, I'm Kathy Campanelli. But they challenged us to kind of cut a promo in the ring, just off the cuff, and that's where it felt the best. After everything, the whole day, all of the craziness, that was where I felt like, oh yeah, this is good. This is giving me that performance tingle that I like. And then a couple months later, Santino's actually ended up offering a class for managers, advocates, ring announcers, and that's really what
I think that might have been the last one because they had one offering in December or October, and like I contacted them, is like there was nobody. There's like 5 people or something like that, so they had to cancel it. So
it's interesting that most people, they don't go into that thinking that most people in the wrestling, they kind of fall into that. That's kind of like their backup. Like their goal is to be a wrestler, and that's what they're gonna do no matter what, you know. And then they kind of get hurt, and then they transition. So what's it like to know what you want to do, man? Knowing what you want to do is a very underrated thing. You know what I mean? Some people spend their whole life not knowing what they want to do or have a plan. So. How did you know you wanted to be in that part of wrestling?
I'll let you know when I find out. No,
I feel you, bro.
I mean,
what do you want to do?
It's like when a kid gets out of high school and they say, "Okay, you're going to college now.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with your life?" So I kind of wish that I had a better direction even when I first got started, because I think it took me until now to say like, okay, yes, I love doing the interviewing for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I love doing commentary. I do love ring announcing, you know. So I think that I think there's just so many options out there. We were talking about it's the curse of the only child.
Right.
You can do anything you want. Oh my gosh, wait, I have to pick one? I think it was helpful to have the direction of, okay, I know that the actual physical wrestling piece isn't necessarily what I want to put the basket I want to put all my eggs in.
Right.
I think that was helpful to kind of say like, okay, I already have this amount of things on my plate, the talking element on my plate, and that's really what I want to focus on. So I think that definitely helped. I've trained like a very, very little bit, enough to be like, okay, this is fine.
It's interesting because back like our parents, the reason why they think like that, they didn't have as many options back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like these young whippersnappers out here nowadays, they're spoiled for choice, man. You can become a millionaire by posting pictures and unboxing presents and stuff. Our parents back in the day were like, man, you gotta go to school, you gotta go to college, you gotta pick this one job and do this. So like that's why they've always been like, choose one thing to do. So we kind of grew up in an era where like, man, there's so much stuff to do.
Yeah.
Like we kind of get lost because there's so much cool stuff, and we don't want to get shoehorned or pigeonholed into one thing. So it's like I said, we're spoiled for choice. For choice.
Absolutely.
So tell us about the cereal thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I see all kind of cereal on your IG.
So guys, I mean, I brought cereal. If you guys want any,
I'm down.
Okay,
but like, what you?
I knew Evan would be down.
Yeah.
We got a variety pack. We got some. You know, you take your pick. That's up to you.
You got Cocoa Krispies up in there.
Of course I have Cocoa Krispies.
That's my.
I never. Is that new?
Girl, oh no. Oh, see right now. This is my problem with Canadians right here. This is my problem. Now I figured out why I can't mess with Canadians. You don't know what Cocoa Krispies are.
No.
But wait, let's be fair.
No.
Wait. Canadian. You guys have Nesquik cereal.
What's that?
Guess so.
See, now I feel.
I had it shipped to me from.
Now I feel
from Canada.
Yeah, I'm not as much of a cereal connoisseur as
you gotta try Cocoa Krispies. They like Snap, Crackle, and Pop and stuff, and it's delicious.
They're just cocoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like Cocoa Rice Krispies. My bad. Don't go singing in the building. But no, go.
Pretty much what happened with the cereal thing was you get to a point. I think everyone gets to the point in life where they say, "Oh my gosh, I'm becoming an adult. This sucks." So you kind of start to embrace all of the beautiful nostalgia from your past. For me, it was a lot of, watching Nicktoons, eating cereal, watching wrestling. I'm sure wrestling has a very nostalgic element for a lot of people. And it was just kind of my way of embracing a carefree time and trying to live in that mindset of like, you know what? It's not that bad. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm gonna put on some Rugrats. I'm gonna eat a bowl of cereal. Everything's gonna be all right, So, but it was funny. I think it was a random. I think I put it on my story, and all of a sudden, people started like DMing me about it. And I was having wrestlers reaching out to me, people that were in the wrestling world, arguing with me about what cereal is better.
Wow.
It's been really incredible. So it's one of those things where now my goal is I want the name Kathy Campanelli in the wrestling world. If it's a fan, if it's a commentator, an announcer, a wrestler, I want my name to be synonymous with cereal. I want people to eat cereal and think of me.
I ain't mad at you at all. What's your favorite cereal?
All right, ready?
There is a right answer.
There is a right answer. So no,
I'll tell you if you're right though.
Okay. Well, I'm a self-proclaimed cereal
expert. She's like, every picture is on cereal, but Evan, you're gonna let her know.
I'm gonna let you know you're right.
Cool.
This is not an opinion. This is actual.
I will give you I will back up my answer if that makes.
I will.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Golden Grams. Here's why. Here's why.
It's a bold pick.
It is a bold pick. I am very much against soggy cereal. I'm very much against.
It's probably the worst thing in the world.
It's the worst thing in the world. Very much against all the little, though, you
On
get to the tail end of a box of cereal as well, and there's all the little like powdery.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's waste. It's waste, and I hate it. Golden Grams keeps their shape and stays intact for way longer than most cereals.
That's a fair
so
point.
I feel like I'm getting the most bang for my buck out of that box of cereal.
That's a fair
So
point.
now are you like LA? You do the almond milk, or do you do like the 2% milk? Or what?
I do the almond milk.
Okay.
I'm an almond milk girl.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not opposed if someone else wants to put 2% in their
You're not a
bowl,
milk
like,
hater, though.
that's
You
fine.
don't-
I'm not a milk hater. Just personally.
I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the best cereal on earth, but we can agree to disagree. Your answer is
fair.
pretty impeccable because they get soggy towards the end. They really soggy.
Yeah, but like,
She's right.
how long are you not eating the bowl of
Because the
cereal?
thing about it is because they're so good, you want to enjoy it. So there's like this speed thing you have to do with cereal, which is uncomfortable. Like you have to actually eat it at a pace, or it gets soggy.
Yeah.
But you want to enjoy it, so sometimes you let it linger, and you're like, damn, I let it linger too long. It's soggy. I'm telling you, everybody knows the cereal plight, man.
Wow.
It's
A lot
tough.
of
The
thought.
soggy thing is the
thought.
worst
Yeah,
thing possible.
it's the worst.
If you are intrigued by the cereal conversation,
Everybody is.
I guess so. Kathy, you have a YouTube channel dedicated to it. You want to tell the people?
Yes, I do. So if you go to Kathy Campanelli on YouTube, I do have a very, very humble beginnings of Let's Get Cereal, where I try new cereals and review them for your viewing pleasure.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I was at the gym today, and before we started class, we have like super advanced people. They were doing all this crazy stuff, and this one chick was literally on like hurdles, and she was stepping from one hurdle to the other, hopped down, and then jumped onto the hurdles into like a bar, lifted the bar, and did that. And then I was thinking,
is there a reason why they do that extra?
It's just extreme. But think about like your ancestors, right? Like, all truly they wanted to do or be able to do is like run when they needed to run, bend and pick up stuff.
Yeah,
like,
because it was
like
in
the
this
basic stuff.
Yeah, my thing
right?
about that, everyone that always harkens back to my answers, they had to do that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? My people had to do
Right. Well, it's like you have to do that, but you'd hope to be able to do that with somewhat comfortability versus, I have to bend this and pick up this thing. It's going to take a long time.
I do give them credit in that part. They will be favorable in a zombie apocalypse. I'm
Right,
just saying for the
sure.
regular world, like
So
why the
now-
hell is she doing that?
Yeah, so now you have people who like, they reach kind of in adulthood, they reach a certain period where it's just like, okay, well, I'm better than 80% of the population because most of the population sits on the couch. Now I'm going to do all this crazy stuff, and I'm looking like, and I'm not opposed to it because I tend to do stuff like that too, but I'm looking at like, man, our ancestors are probably looking at us like
we
what
crazy.
What are you doing?
Oh, they definitely are.
What, you're spending 2 hours to, what?
I'm a firm
In a
believer.
building
Yeah, I'm a
to
firm.
do the
Yeah.
Zombie apocalypse, they good. I'm gonna be.
CrossFit.
I'm a wish I did CrossFit.
Another thing too. So, anyways, that's why it's going into the cereal thing. It's just like now our ancestors looking. It's like so now you're opening packages, and now we're talking.
Talking deliciousness.
Talking about delicious cereal.
Yeah.
When there was a point where people were like just starving, like food, and now all would do it. So it's just.
I like how you brought an 8-pack of cereal. Some of my favorite gems are in there too.
Oh my goodness.
She bought the jam, man. Cocoa Krispies, man.
I know. I do what I can. I do it.
I'm taking that box too. This wasn't just being facetious. I'm taking Cocoa Krispies, man. You've offered.
That should be you should bring that to every show that you do along with Cocosina.
Girl.
Like
You're like a party favor.
And then paint their faces.
Kenny Johnson,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
I see. I can't blackface the white guy. That opens a whole can of worms. TK.
Then take
2019.
Take that picture that guy had made us, and then stick it on their
I was
faces.
gonna say, just redo the box.
Yeah,
It's
just
fine.
redo the box. So
Yeah.
you have Cocosina's.
I think you're on to something.
Yeah, I'm always on to something. I come up with the ideas, and he just.
Oh no! She actually dubbed the name Coco Cena, and it's sticking, man. People call me that now, so I'm digging that.
Anyways,
What did you tell me? What your ultimate goal is? If you had a genie right now, if you had 3 wishes, give me your
man.
3 wishes, and don't say we're under, please. 'Cause we would all fix that.
3 wishes.
Because I'd
3
fix that.
wishes.
Give me 3 wishes that are personal. That's personal, and it's first world problems.
All right.
Because we would all fix like food and like cancer and stuff like
obviously,
that. Give me like
yes.
something selfish.
Okay, something selfish. Okay, I would want to be pretty much sponsored to eat cereal for a living.
It's amazing.
Someone pay me to eat cereal.
I mean, I think it's possible.
So
I totally think it's possible.
that's a good first one.
Yeah.
Okay, first one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
I know, right?
Jeez.
I know.
I would want to never have to work out again from all the cereal I'm eating.
You just be fit though. You just be fit.
Yeah, just
That's a good
perma-fit.
one. That's pretty amazing.
Perma-fit.
Okay.
That's a pretty good one though.
And probably teleportation.
Where would you go?
Like I have family on the East Coast,
Me
so
too.
I'd be able. If I want to.
That is my biggest problem with living in LA.
Yeah.
And my mother and my father and my brother and
Yeah.
my sister,
Yeah.
like they're all in PA, and I'm like, I gotta fly.
Yeah, for sure. But I think I'd even do it just selfishly as like LA traffic. Oh, where do I have to go?
Oh, that's true.
Done.
Yeah.
Could you
Yeah.
teleport your car with you?
Who would need?
Well,
to?
why would you need to?
That's true. That's a dope. That's
like
a
a
dope.
teleport.
Teleportation is very underrated power.
It
man.
is. It
Go
is.
anywhere in the planet.
Yeah,
Man.
anywhere. I love that. Yep.
She got an
So
answer.
how long have you been following, like, in your adult life, I guess? How many years have you been following wrestling?
Honestly, not that long.
So
not that long.
like
Maybe
2
like
years or something?
3 years.
3 years. So where do you think, like, if you think back to your childhood with wrestling, and then kind of when you stopped in that period of time to now, as far as women's wrestling, where do you think of, like, what do you think of the progress, and where do you hope it'll go?
Gosh, I mean, I love the progress I've seen. I think there's so much more of a spotlight on it to the point that shows like this. Main eventing, and even shows like this exist, whereas the focus is women's wrestling.
And there's never not been, like, we haven't run out of guests.
And you know
There's plenty more.
what's crazy about that on top, just to piggyback on your point, is like our chat is like men. That's to me is one of the biggest parts though, because this is the same crowd that was kind of resistant towards it, maybe because it was presented to them a certain way. But now we're in the chat, there's like just dudes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this girl's amazing, this woman's amazing. So that's to me is one of the biggest parts of it, that there's being supported by both sides.
Well, they're judging by the character
Yeah.
and the quality of their work
Yeah.
versus just, oh well, she's hot.
And they're all pretty.
Exactly.
They're all.
Exactly.
They were always pretty. Like, it's one of those things where, like, that's par for the course now. Now you're like, wait,
Right.
she's amazing.
Yeah.
She's an
Yeah.
amazing athlete. She's an amazing competitor. She's tough and all this other stuff like that. So
where I think the appearance almost becomes an afterthought. Like, yeah, okay, obviously that's a given, but
yeah,
like,
yeah.
let me see her work, But yeah, I think it's come a long way. Where I would hope to see it go is to be kind of more inclusive in mainstream as far as intergender action would go. I think that it's absolutely beautiful to see kind of the unity and not feel like it has to be set aside or showcased in a certain way because it wouldn't be an issue anymore.
Right.
Like I would hope to eventually get to that.
Yeah,
that
where
point.
main events like, oh, okay, it just happens to be women or
Yeah.
intergender or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that's where I would hope it will go.
So now, you're doing the hosting stuff. What other companies do you do hosting for?
So I work for IWTV, formerly Powerbomb TV, just doing a lot of video intros, hosting some of their streams, and then just different promotions around Southern California for commentating, ring announcing, just being kind of like those in-ring personalities of, and a lot of it's happened by accident, where it's I show up and I'm like helping with the ring, and I think that's how it happened at Hollywood. I went with the class to help set up stuff, and they're like, hey, you want to do that? I was like, yeah, okay, all right.
Was it that day or?
They gave me an audition that day.
Okay.
And yeah, so much of it's been I don't want to say it's dumb luck because I don't want to downplay it, but it's some of it's just right place, right time, just being prepared and just ready to do it. So, but yeah, so for Bar, AWS, Maverick will be this weekend.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
yeah.
So you got to interview Jazz when she was at Championship Wrestling. How was that?
Terrifying.
She's a beast, right?
Yeah.
So intense.
She really is.
Oh man. But I mean, amazing. Just I think to be in her presence was, you could feel it. I could feel the gravity of oh my god. But yeah, I think one of the first things that she said is excuse me, miss. And she was so quiet. When a parent goes
And she's
quiet.
not that tall either. I thought she was taller, and I see her
man.
pictures of other folks. I'm like, oh, she's not that tall at all.
Right?
Well, not that she's short either, but her voice.
Yeah,
and
she's
the way
imposing.
yeah.
She's an imposing figure.
Exactly. Very imposing. But yeah, it's when a parent or authority figure gets really quiet and you're like, oh no, I'm in so much trouble. She's like, you will address me as the female fighting phenom, Jazz. I was like, okay.
How long did she, like, how much time did she give you before you had to go on air?
Oh, I had, like, you know, spoken with her briefly in the locker room, but other than that, I mean, we just kind of came in and it was time to go.
Damn, I think I would have needed a moment to like. So you
and
want
Jazz,
what?
like, man, she just commands your respect.
Absolutely.
That's how she's built. That's where she's from. And how she's been raised. How she's been brought up. Like, you know, with her job, her real job, and her wrestling. She's amazing. But like that being like the correctional officer thing, like that. She's around all these grown men.
Yeah.
She just has such a way about her, though. You know, she's like put like this. She is who she says she is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like that, almost that type of wrestler where. Like you don't know where reality and wrestling that line is, and I love that type of wrestling. Like you know, even I just was watching a little bit of SmackDown. I saw the whole New Day thing, and it's just I love that type of wrestling where it's like, oh well, are they gonna quit? Or well, they've been there long enough, so they can afford to quit. You know, they can afford to quit. So it's like, well, it's a possibility.
Yeah, when the character intertwines, I was just watching a promo, like, because I was watching 50,000 times, like Cena versus The Rock. Like, people don't know how real those moments were. A lot of people thought that was acting, and it was not. And you really watch Dwayne through his whole career, and then watch him in that moment, he's real pissed though, because Cena was saying like real personal stuff about him leaving and going to Hollywood. So when he comes out, The Rock's face he's swole up. He's like, because he's like, it's a personal attack,
right?
And the crowd's like, this is just an act. I'm like, man, these guys are just playing two characters that are being serious. And that to me is what makes wrestling really great, when that line is blurred. Man, that's some scary stuff right there.
Yeah,
man.
like even beyond the people who watch like wrestling week in and week out, the thing I love, I think when you make it is like somebody who doesn't watch wrestling all the time, and they could sit down with you and watch it, and you don't have to recite the history of whatever it is. It's like that's what makes to me like great wrestling, and like you've bled the great wrestling to also like, you know, the mic skills. If you can do that all together, it's like, okay, it's a winner right there.
Absolutely.
And I think we're, you know, some days we get it, some days we don't. So goal is WWE, or what's the ultimate goal? Because you are an opera singer.
Man, I
what
mean,
are you gonna do with that?
Jeez, I mean, it's funny. I haven't thought about singing in a very long time. Aside from karaoke, if you ever go out with me, I do.
Oh, you wanted them, huh? You wanted them to come up on there and just embarrass everybody.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't do opera for karaoke.
They don't mean
Yeah,
you
but
don't
I
get
mean,
me. You still can
you're a
sing.
trained
You can
singer,
still.
yeah.
You wanted them. You whoa.
But I weirdly prepare for karaoke.
See, I just said you wanted them.
I hate it. I've gotten a lot better, but like I would think about my song choices like in a
You
psychological
are the
way.
worst person ever.
I'm pretty terrible. No, I think it's. I would love to be kind of with a company where that would be enough to, you know, either be a host, be an announcer, be a commentator. I'm open to it. I think one of the things for me is that I never really went into this with expectations for anything, which I think might have actually been a little to my downfall, because now I'm like, what's out there? So I think I'm still so new in what I'm doing that I'm very much open at this point to just exploring what I can do and kind of see where it takes me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like that.
I do too.
I like that. But what do your parents think then?
That's a good question.
It's really funny because my mom, I think, was a wrestling fan when she was a kid. My dad just like doesn't get it, but because I'm on it, he'll watch it.
Of course.
But my mom is like a hardcore fan, and I
Like
love
she
it.
knows everybody that comes on.
she'll call me and we'll talk about it. She's like, oh my god, did you see what happened on Raw?
Oh, that's so cool.
And I'm like, Ma, yes.
That's
so
so
it's
cool.
I'm very lucky. I have a very supportive family.
It's a very, very important thing.
Yeah. So.
And then tell us what it's like working with our former co-host, Sarah the Rebel.
Oh, she's amazing.
She's hilarious.
She cracks me the hell up. Yeah, I feel like I learned so much from her, and I mean, she was very formative when I was first getting started.
Right.
So I was lucky to have a lot of mentors who have become friends, who become friends, who become mentors, you know, kind of thing. So she's amazing. That's someone that I feel like on the mic is unstoppable.
Oh, she's hilarious.
She's incredible.
If you watch the last interview she was on, we're talking about her fat cat.
Bailey the fat cat.
And then she's like, I was fat shaming her cat, and then they posted some picture on Instagram, and it was like another cat. I'm like, wait, you guys have two cats? And then Tyler was like, no, I have 3. I was like, oh, well played, sir. Yes. And if you guys don't have no idea what I'm talking about, then
went to a sexual place.
Just we'll just.
I just caught that back end of that.
As it is wont to do, you know.
My kitty's starting to gain weight too, man. This is all my fault though. Yeah, it's all my fault, man. You know, he's more on a well-balanced diet. He's on a science diet, you know what I mean? But he knows how to get a little extra, you know what I mean? Because he's a charmer.
He's just lovable.
But I'm starting to see his weight gain. I'm like, wait a minute, you can't make that jump like you used to make. You getting fat. He's getting fat. I don't want to fat shame him, though. I don't want to fat shame him.
Ancestors, they were just out in the wild doing their stuff. Now they're domesticated.
He's a house cat, though. I refuse to let him put his cute little paws on soil.
You're so protective.
Yeah, he's a house cat, man.
Sweet.
They live longer, too, statistically, by the way. They get like 4 more years. So I'm just, house cat, please. Stop letting them run around in the field, man. They domesticated for a reason. He's getting fat though. I fat shamed him yesterday. I felt bad, man.
You actually told the cat that.
I said you are.
Did you say it to his?
I said right to his face. I said, bro, you are fat. He couldn't make the jump. He makes this jump from like the tower to the couch, and he doesn't make it anymore.
Oh no.
He doesn't make it anymore because he's so.
You gotta. I mean, there's a way to tough love it without fat shaming him. Jeez.
Talking about cereal.
Obsessed with this kitty, man.
Give him some cereal.
I know.
That's shaming the cat. Now, who's your person that you who you have interviewed that you loved interviewing, and then who do you want to interview?
Wow. I had a really fun time interviewing Joey Ryan. Obviously, just a bundle of laughs. Gosh, I think. Who would I want to interview? I'm a big fan of Aleister Black, so I would love the chance to kind of get inside that mind and
he's another one too. I believe X-Pac did interview him, and we were there for NXT. And he's another one too, where it's just like, are we like real life?
Right.
Is this wrestling? Like I'm confused. Like he's another one too, where it's just like you don't know, and he does it so well that you're just like, I don't even want to ask, so we're just gonna run with whatever you say.
I don't want to feel stupid.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. He'd be a good one. Anybody else?
Yeah. I'm sure there's like 30 million, but of course now that I'm thinking of it, I can't think of any.
Bar wrestling has quite a few people too, like that come down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I had one interview briefly with Scorpio Sky, but I would want to have another one with him.
Dope.
Nice. They've had a lot of people. I think Kiera
people.
Hogan's been they bring a lot of people.
Yeah,
up
there's a lot of good names come through there.
Now, I wish Jim was here so you could educate Jim. Jim is not a fan of indie wrestling.
Yeah, how would you sell him on indie?
How would you sell him on indie wrestling, and or why you should go to bar wrestling?
Because it's uncensored. It's incredibly raw, not to make the pun, but I couldn't think of a better word. I feel like there's things that you can get away with in indie wrestling that you can't get away with anywhere else.
For sure.
It's not meant to be family friendly. It is what it is, and it's unapologetically so, and I think that's the beautiful brilliance of it. Because I mean, I normally have a mouth like a truck driving sailor, and that's, I think, something where it's I have an outlet. It can be more free.
Right. So wait, you can swear while you're like as an announcer bar wrestling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not like crazily so, but it slips out. I don't have to be like, I'm in trouble now.
Yeah,
so
suspended.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that's it. It just feels less inhibited.
Yeah, I noticed like even the live shows with WWE and just like indie shows, it's just like you see a lot more acrobatics. Like they more freedom to try stuff, and now you're almost invested because now it's the wrestler's job to tell the story without like weeks in advance, and the promos all like they tell the story in the ring.
Yeah.
And it's just like that takes a lot of work. And
Absolutely.
again, that's to me like somebody who's made it and understands the psychology of it. Yeah. That they can be in just two people. You don't know their storyline, but you get their storyline while they're in the ring, and now you're like, I don't know who's gonna win.
Exactly.
And then you find yourself cheering for one or the other. So like that's
it is. Well, yeah, that's an element they used to have a lot of that. But when you you change to different networks and you get 3 hours and then you have so many different wrestlers. Like I said, it used to be like that, but it's changed because once a company starts realizing how much money they can generate, man. Like I said, that's one thing because indie, there's always been that disconnect between indie and mainstream. Yeah. What indie don't understand about mainstream is like, yo, man, y'all don't. We talking about sponsorships from like, I mean, put like this, for example, Snickers is sponsoring the entire WrestleMania. They're paying for it. Yeah. So like he doesn't have to worry about anything but one sponsor. That's crazy.
And don't forget the 9-year contract with Saudi Arabia.
You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of so that comes with a lot of expectation, a lot of responsibility. Now you're out here looking like, damn, hold on, wait a minute, who just paid $1 billion for what? Okay, now we gotta do all these different kinds of. With indie wrestling, there's because back in the day there used to be that moment where WWE they were fearless because they had to be because of WCW, and they got canceled from USA because they were fearless. They said no guns. They brought a gun on, got canceled. Like it's like they didn't care, and then all of a sudden you start getting in that billions territory, man. Things are changing, man. You gotta start modifying what you do. So I think it's interesting. The polar opposites, by the way. And indie wrestling still gives you that old school wrestling feel. That's the appeal, Jim. That's the appeal, Jim. Yeah. You forget where you come from, Jim.
Oh boy.
Jim is the biggest indie hater.
Now, what you didn't answer a couple questions ago is where do you hope to see women's wrestling?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think Evan cut you off.
I probably do.
Yeah,
probably did.
Yeah.
It's rude. No, I think on a kind of a even a grander stage where it's like really throwing down and like beating the crap out of each other and and we're starting to see it a little bit on a mainstream level, because I still think a lot of the more brutal things we do see a lot on the indie scene, but yeah, I think to just see that in a more mainstream focus.
I don't know if I'd want to see that like brutal stuff for women. Like I don't mind the intergender and stuff like that, but like the thumbtacks and like a ridiculous amount of blood on the face and stuff like that. I don't know if that I would want to see that. I mean, I'm sure it might be a crossover because it's still the majority of people who watch wrestling pay for it are men. So maybe it doesn't matter to them whether it's male or female. They just want to see like the art. But for me, it's just like, I don't know if I want to see all that.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's just part of me, even as much as we don't like to admit it, like women are more prone to get injured before a man is. And just based on how you guys are built, and I don't want to see like injuries from a lot of ladies.
Right.
That's what I'm worried about on like huge pay-per-views. I'm telling you that literally WWE is thinking the same thing. Like they don't want to see anything on Sunday because these women are going to raise the bar because once you get out there, I don't give a damn what they say in the back. These women are going to get taken over by that moment. And someone's going to try something crazy. Charlotte probably, because Charlotte's buck wild. Charlotte probably going to try to jump off the top of what's it called, Meadowlands and Rutherford and try to just jump off and just do like a suplex from the top of the building. But like I just don't want to see anybody get like hurt with anything too extreme. Yeah. But it would be interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, you see, like every time Shane's in a big pay-per-view, he's jumping off of something. Yeah. 25, like it's just.
He always wants to prove that because that people that say he shouldn't be in the ring, so he always wants to do that to silence all critics like me.
But it's the fact that he does it, and then you're like, well, if Shane could do it and he doesn't wrestle like every week, and I've dedicated my life to this, then why can't I do this?
Oh, these women are gonna go crazy on Sunday. It's gonna be amazing to see what they're gonna try to. They want to show the world that they belong here. This is not just a one-off thing. This is not a gimmick. This is not a thing for ratings. These women are gonna. I'm telling you, they're gonna steal the show. Don't know how, but they will.
I think WWE is definitely gonna cater to mainstream media. So,
but the Fox deal, oh yeah,
it's either I don't see Becky, unfortunately, unless there's some crazy twist so they can prolong it. But I don't see Becky getting the belts. Unfortunately, I want her to, but I don't see her getting.
That would shock the world if she does not win on Sunday.
It will shock the WWE universe.
Right. So that's it. Yeah.
The world would be like, oh damn, Ronda has 2 belts now. Yeah. Then she'll be on Sports Illustrated with 2 belts, and she'll be this place with 2 belts.
That would be so great because the fans would boo. I would love that so much. I love when people don't get what they want. Like wrestling fans, it's my favorite when they don't get what they want. Because like, oh, it's obvious Becky's winning. It's obvious. What if she don't?
Is it though?
Oh God, that'd be great.
I mean, they had us on the ledge with Kofi.
She just raises the. I told you until they started advertising it. They shouldn't have did that. When they started advertising, will he get there? I was like, oh come on, y'all. They should.
Yeah, but how they got there? Well, this is a whole nother conversation. This has nothing to do.
We getting on wrestling.
Yeah,
wrestling.
But that's why I like that storyline in particular. I do like it. I do like how New Day changed their they just made slight changes to tell the story, but still maintain you know, their group identity. But what we're gonna do now?
Oh, this is good right here.
Yeah. We're gonna go through a gauntlet, rapid fire hot tags.
Wrestling rapid hot tags.
All right, so here we go. Always early or always late?
Always early.
Last person you text?
My husband.
Married?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I did see the ring. Oh, congratulations. What if you don't really? You put more cereal than your husband on there. I don't think I saw your husband on any social media.
You don't got.
Jay Gruesome. He's on my page.
He's actually his at is there.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But I don't see a lot of pictures. I
was
just see
gonna say,
cereal.
I know I'm like totally messing up the hot tags portion of this.
You
Yeah.
are
like,
killing it. Now it's like
Yeah.
cold
I know, I'm
tags.
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
I'm just saying.
It's lukewarm.
I'm just saying. I just when I went to your Instagram yesterday, I just saw more cereal than anything else. But you know,
TK calling it out. Where you
I'm
man?
very lucky to live with two very talented artists who are both on my page, Pocket the Creator and Jay Gruesome.
Shout out
okay.
to Jay Gruesome.
I thought you were
Pocket
gonna,
the Creator.
I thought you was gonna be like.
I know. I was like,
old
wait,
girl
hold on.
from Impact. Oh, dang it.
Wait a minute.
Katrina
she's like
Waters.
gay polyamorous, man.
Yeah,
I
she's
was like, hold
polyamorous.
on.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I
Very,
thought you.
and like unapologetic too.
Yeah, I thought you was like, oh, there's two. I was like, whoa.
I was like, hold on now.
Okay. I'm gonna edit this a lot. What is the one thing you love about yourself?
My goofiness.
Dream dinner guest.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Dead or alive?
Oh gosh, dead or alive. Amy Poehler.
She's adorable.
Oh yeah, she is. Favorite wrestler.
Joey Ryan.
Who would play you in a movie?
Kate Winslet.
And celebrity you'd like to meet?
Amy Poehler. I really love Parks and Recreation.
Kathy, last show you binge watched.
That 70s show.
You like Parks and Recreation?
I know, but it's that 70s show. I don't know. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, I need to watch that show too. If you were a crayon, what color would you be?
Seafoam green. I've thought about this.
Snap.
Yep.
Specific.
Very specific.
If you were to listen to one album for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Treats by Sleigh Bells.
Okay. And if you were on death row, what would be your last meal?
Cereal.
That
Golden
is
Grams in particular.
You got anything. It's like Golden Grams.
Golden Grams.
That is true. It was
You
your last
know?
meal, though. It's true.
Stay committed to
It's a given,
I
right?
can't even
till
argue with
the
you.
end. Where can people find you?
So I'm on Instagram, obviously, Kathy Campanelli, YouTube, Kathy Campanelli, Twitter, Campanelli Cathy.
Oh, switched it
Just
up.
gotta mix it up a little bit. Yeah.
And you say YouTube already?
Yeah.
How often do you release your videos?
Oh gosh, I'm trying once a week, but it is tough.
Yeah, it is really hard.
Yeah, it's the consistency thing. But every now and then, you'll see me.
You might get a video.
Eating lots of cereal for
Once
you.
every
No, I'm
3
trying
months.
to do like at least every other week.
So wait,
sort of.
do you like go to different cereals that are already out, or do they release different cereals?
Some of them are limited edition. I've had some limited edition ones that I'll do like little reviews on, but some of them are ones that have just been out that I've never tried before.
And so even the ones you don't like, do you like make?
Oh, there was a whole debacle with Sour Patch Kids cereal.
That's terrible.
It was.
I
it's
like
on there.
their heart was in
Watch
the
it.
right
It was
place, though.
rough.
Their heart was in the right place because Sour Patches are amazing.
That just doesn't
But-
even sound
In
like.
cereal form, however,
We've gone too far with cereal form.
well, way too far.
No.
Oh goodness. Well,
Like,
when
no.
you're
She knows her cereal. I'll give her that. She
now,
does.
now you're
you.
impressed after an hour.
It took me a little bad there. You know what I mean? To come around.
Came in with like like I'm gonna prove her wrong. I am the cereal master. No.
There can only be one.
You know, only Highlander reference. That's what's up.
Where can people find you when you're not fighting crime, Cocosina?
Oh yeah, Evan T Mac, Instagram and Twitter. Shout out to Johan, what up, baby? And Hugo from Portugal, what's good, boy? I'm out. I'm out of shout.
Also,
Ghost.
BMP shirts. If you don't know what that is, you need to watch us on Raw and NXT. BMP shirts are available on Pro Wrestling Tee.
I appreciate you. Yes.
Do they just look for your name or just BMP?
Just put BMP in.
Just put BMP. You can purchase those shirts there. If you are listening to us on iTunes, give us 5 stars or better.
Yeah.
YouTube, leave those comments. We definitely appreciate those comments. And then also, we're actually in season 3. This is the 3rd season of Women's Wrestling Weekly, so without you guys, we wouldn't be here.
Affirmative.
So if there's any guests that you want to see on the show, just please let us know. Tag them on Instagram, whatever. Do it what you be doing all the time. Evan will be at WrestleMania, so hit him up. Evan, you gotta post some pictures, right? Sometimes it's a hit or miss.
There. When it comes to that, I'm
Sometimes he does.
my baby brother out there. Oh Lordy.
So definitely find Evan's Instagram, and then I'll probably just be reposting for Women's Wrestling Weekly. Other than that, you can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. Till next time, guys. We'll see you.
From executive producers Kevin Undergaro, Maria Menounos, Phil Svitek,
producer TK Trinidad, and me, Mark Donica, your voice of AfterBuzz TV Wrestling. We ask you to rate and comment on iTunes, subscribe to AfterBuzz Wrestling on YouTube, and find us on all social media. Thank you for watching Women's Pro Wrestling Weekly. See you next week.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.